We are the nerds. We are the nerds of the apocalypse.
Hey everybody. How's it going?
Hi, Will.
All right, you guys ready to get this panel started?
Is everybody super excited? That was not very excited. Can we get more excited, please?
Let's give us a little bit more than that.
Oh, can we do it in a woo? Is that allowed?
No, it's not a woo. Wooing is
too early for a woo.
It's too early for a woo.
Don't want to start a hell.
Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves, I suppose. I am Hyena Tails and or Will.
I am Kira Lee Saberfox, or Brittany, whatever you prefer.
And I'm just Wes.
He's the outsider we invited.
So
we picked him up off the street.
Yeah, we are moderators in the Palmetto State Furs group, which is a local, it's a statewide furry community type deal here. We help manage things, plan meets, make sure everyone gets along nice. And yeah, we're going to show you guys what we're all about here and some general questions just about the furry fandom here, in case you're curious. So I am kind of curious, like, about you guys. Who in here has an idea of what a furry is?
You guys don't count. Please put your hands down.
If you're wearing a fursuit, don't raise your hand.
If you're in a fursuit, please put your hands down.
I think you might have a slight inkling of what a furry is. How about you over there? Can you tell us? Yeah, you right here in the gray shirt. Can you tell me what you think a furry is? Yeah. Dressing up in animal costume, sure. I think they're doing that right now. What about you over here? Oh, that's so sweet.
Dang, you guys are doing good.
A community of people that like to express themselves and just be free and love each other. It's pretty spot on as well. Anybody else? Anybody else want to be bold?
One more?
One more. Let's
Come
give us
on.
one more.
Anybody?
How about something really crazy you've heard about furries that you think can't possibly be true? How about you?
Go ahead.
What do you think? Sonic's awesome. Disney, yeah.
Right. That's very good too.
Okay, yeah, that was a really thorough definition. That kind of leads into our first slide here. So let's go and get started. What is a furry? So, trick question, guys. There actually is no specific definition of what a furry is. Everybody kind of has their own idea of what a furry is to them. For some of our suitor friends here, you can see that they really get into their character. They've got an awesome detailed suit that they like to get people to pet them and all that and wag and all. And you've got folks like me who I don't even have any badges of my character sitting up here. And we got folks like Wes over here who, we love to have around.
I'm probably fit in the category that is the basis of the fandom. Just a fan of anthropomorphic animals, like the cartoons we grew up on, video games, like you said, Sonic, stuff like that. So
right. So we like everybody to come and participate, right? It doesn't matter if you've got a $3,000 costume you've made or you're just some dude that saw a YouTube video and think furries are kind of cool. Or a lady. Ladies too. Ladies come as well. So everybody is welcome here, and we are super inclusive here.
Very accepting fandom. Mm-hmm. No judgment.
That's right. So, and this is the fun part, furry culture. So everybody in the furry fandom is going to have their own personalized character that they kind of just create, and it's kind of just another representation of themselves. Maybe it's something that they can't be in their normal day-to-day life. Just a way to kind of put out their stuff that maybe they're a little more timid about, but they can be more free about in our group. And that's what we want. So you're going to see folks like Levi here. If you want to stand up and show off your suit for a second.
Do a dance, Levi.
Come on, you like attention.
Come on. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
This is Levi.
I guarantee if he goes in the work, maybe he probably wouldn't do that. Alrighty here, so we're gonna have nerd culture as well. That's a really big part of the furry fandom. Like if you go to any convention, we're gonna have game rooms that are open to the wee hours of the morning. You're gonna find out about video games and board games that you never heard before and find new friends to play them with. It's great. Let's move on here. Oh, and these are some of our, if anybody read the schedule, you may have noticed that a gentleman named Kipper is on there. He's kind of
He didn't come.
He did not come, but he is one of the moderators of our group as well. He helps us organize things and does all the hard work, like set up or helps with all the hard work, like setting up panels and all that. That's him there on the left. And this is just an example of some of the things that we like to plan here. So they kind of get everybody off their computer, out of their house, and outside interacting with each other. That was actually this summer, this July, our picnic on the right there.
Is everybody here from Columbia? No, I know you're not from Columbia. No?
Out of town people?
Okay.
Anybody from like Greenville? Gaston? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, actually, now that we're talking about this, who in here has never heard of what a furry is before? It just came because you saw it on the panel and thought that you wanted to see what it was.
That's all right.
Yeah,
No, we're glad that you're here. Really. And then we've got late ones wandering in.
Yeah. Come on in, have a seat.
That's right. Go sit in shame.
Yep.
So meets are a big part of our fandom too. We love to get together and just hang out and do stuff with each other. This is an example right here. We had a picnic meet up in Greenville, Heritage Park, and had a real good time. And even the people outside the fandom there, they got a little train that goes around the park, and there was a bunch of kids and families there, and they loved it. I mean, kids come with the territory in being a furry if you have a fursuit, because they think you're just a huge, stuffed animal, and they loved it.
That's right. Yeah. I think sometimes we get like kind of a bad rap for just showing up places and disrupting everything. Nah, dude, we just like everybody to hang out, talk, and like if you are talking to a suitor, please go up and talk to them and pet them and all that, because they love all of the attention. So let's move on to another slide here.
Hello.
All right, so let's talk about some of the subcultures within the furry fandom. And this is kind of what I was alluding to earlier when I talked about how diverse the fandom is. So if you get into any furry chat room, maybe you go to a convention, maybe you go to a meet, you're gonna meet folks that come from all walks of life and participate in all kinds of different hobbies. Like, we're gonna have people that are into video games, board games, a lot of like gym rat folks that just work out all the time. You're gonna find some football people, we've got some military people, engineers,
artists, musicians.
One of my very good friends in the furry fandom, he's a med student, a couple of them actually now that I think about it. So we kind of don't really limit ourselves to just like people that like to hide in the dark in their rooms and not talk to folks. All right, so let's talk a little bit about our personalized characters, because that's kind of like the crux of what people participate in as a furry. So I'm a bad example because, like I said, I don't really have a lot of art of my character, but so you're gonna run into people like Kira here.
I'm Kira.
Like Kira, yeah.
I'm a hybrid.
Yeah, I guess we should explain.
You can't tell because my teeth are really messed up, but I'm a saber fox. Don't ask me how I came up with the saber fox. It just came to me one day. This is just what happens when you get a fursona. You just, you're just sitting there one day, and all of a sudden,
do something really insane, like a rainbow dragon fox thing. I don't know.
That's my next idea.
Something as crazy as possible. That's right. Yeah.
And basically, a fursona is just it's a character within the fandom that a person can come up with that they identify with, and a lot of times, fursuits are made out of people's fursonas, and that's how they express themselves. Well, they can be a different person, or, you don't even have to have a fursuit. I don't even have a fursona. I want to work on one.
That's kind of where artists would come in to kind of bring your character to life.
Yeah.
Like, the furry fandom would not exist if it weren't for the artists that like really. It's not even hard to explain. Like, they just kind of give our characters like a whole personality, and you can actually see them when when you commission art from them, and it's really awesome. Like, if you go to a convention, we have entire halls dedicated to folks that, will have people come around and pay them to draw their character. It's great.
You guys like video games or anything? Does anybody in here like video games? Does anybody in here like comics?
What kind of question is that? We're at a Comic-Con.
Anybody in here like movies? Anime? Okay, so a lot of times with these fursonas, you kind of go through all these things and you see somebody and you're like, wow, I can really relate to that person. Like you said, Sonic, man, I can go fast. I can totally go fast. I want to be Sonic. So you build yourself off of that. And then you have this. I'm not really sure what he decided to come from, but...
If you're like Snooze, you can't go fast at all.
No.
You just crawl around.
You just crawl around and cry.
And fall asleep randomly. Yeah.
please excuse this one. He's a bad example of our fandom. Love you. Continue.
Okay. But you know, that's good that you
She was kidding. It was a joke.
You don't have to run away.
Aww.
Come on.
Hold on.
Do you want to get up on the stage too?
Come on.
Come on.
Get up here.
Come on.
Come up and be a
Come
special
on.
snowflake. It's okay.
Show off.
I am curious.
Don't forget
why-
your blanket.
Is that your security blanket? Come here.
Here, you can sit next to me.
Yeah, go sit next to Will. It's gonna be okay. If you can.
Yeah. This might go a little better now that I have a little helper. Oh man. Okay, so I could talk about this part for the rest of the panel. This is a meet that I actually planned personally here on the left. Yeah, that's the TV meet. So I really want to get the word out about this. So the whole goal of PSF, like I said, is to have people come out and to participate and like talk to each other. And so we really try to come up with creative ways to get folks out of the house to actually like have fun together. And that's all it's all about. And like, yeah, that was an absolute blast. Like if none of you guys haven't done that before, like we rented some tubes and went down this little river together.
And
Yeah,
no, we did
great.
not go in our fursuits.
No.
That's a bad idea. No.
Although we did have someone go fully clothed.
Actually,
so.
most of
Yeah,
the
we
times we hold these meets, we're not in suits. I mean, we just hang out in person, you know, a lot of times. So it's not everyone has a fursuit. That's a common misconception of furry fandom. You don't have to have a fursuit to be a furry fandom at all.
Yep. And afterwards, we usually go out for food and such. Like you can see in the picture in the bottom right-hand side there. And that's usually, if you're wondering about how many people show up, that's a pretty good estimation of the amount of folks that we attracted at our meets. It'll be about 20 to 25 people. For our picnic meet, it was actually around 30 or 35. So, yeah.
And we do all sorts of stuff. I mean, like tubing, picnic meet. We had a beach meet just last week in Charleston. Yeah, just all sorts of stuff.
I think I have a picture of that in the next slide.
Boiling.
Yeah,
Bowling.
Yeah. And this is another important part. Like, these are some of our members here in the pictures. And, like, another point I really want to get across here, you don't need to have a suit to participate in the fandom. Like, if you just want to show up, please do. Come talk to me after this panel. I will bombard you with information, and we will get you out to do something, hang out with us.
We truly love people.
It will. If everyone just kind of doesn't like that shenanigans, we'll make sure that he doesn't come.
Yeah, he's going to be banned.
We can ban him.
Yeah. But to put on Will's point too, it's really everyone in this group is very accepting, and they're just fun people to hang out with. I mean, because there's just no judgment, and a lot of people have common interests, and that goes back to there's no definition of a furry. I mean, everyone has their different thoughts about it, but we're all a family.
And these are just some more examples of the meets we had. Like Wes mentioned our beach meet that we had last weekend. This is on the bottom right. That's a picture from it. It's a little bit smaller, but I mean, in those kind of situations, like that's also has its upsides because then you get to talk to folks and not feel so anxious about if you're really putting yourself out there or not. And that's a picture of sometimes we get a little crazy and we'll have bar meets once a month. Yeah, so that's a picture from that, and the turnouts for those are really good too. All right. So thanks to our friends here, you guys have probably already got a good idea of what a fursuit is. But just kind of clarifying that it's a representation of your character. Like Snooze here is going to have a lot of traditional art of his character as well, and he likes it so much that he had to have a very expensive, very detailed suit made out of it. So we'll go ahead and skip past that and get more to like the other stuff. All right, the good stuff, conventions. So there are so many furry conventions. I wish I would have put a map in here so you guys could see just how many and how spread out they are. Just a couple examples. I think last week we had Eurofurrence, which is a giant convention in Europe. I think there's like, 5,000 to 6,000 attendees usually? Yeah, something like that. It's a lot of people. And out of those 5,000 or 7,000 people, you're going to have 25% of them, so 2,000 people just like this, walking around trying to get everyone's attention. Here in the U.S., we're going to have Anthrocon Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh. That's the biggest one. So that's going to be up in the higher 7,000 range. Oh, okay, never mind. 8, 9, 10? Yeah, that many people. Yeah, it's massive. Personally, I don't really a lot of people, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Our closest large one to here is FWA in Atlanta, Furry Week in Atlanta. It takes place in April at a massive hotel right in the middle of Atlanta.
Yeah, it's at the Marriott Marquis in Atlanta.
Yeah, Marriott Marquis.
I really recommend, if you're sitting in this room kind of thinking, I kind of want to get an idea of it and I want to do a convention, go to FWA. Like, that's such a good representation of like how much emphasis there is on like art and community and all that.
That one was our first.
Yeah, that was our first FurCon, and that's really what kind of cemented my place in the fandom. I just had such a great time seeing everyone, talking to everyone, and they always have activities going on 24/7.
I'll say that I've actually been a furry for about 16 years now. I had no idea that there was anybody else in South Carolina that liked this kind of thing. And I've gone to conventions, and and then I met that guy. I met that guy, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if I want to meet the rest of these people.
Come on.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, we met him and subsequently found everybody else. And I can definitely say it's been a very life-changing experience for us because these people are an amazing group of people.
It's been great.
And you will never find anybody who is as fun and loving. And I can say most of these people, I would say I already trust with my life. I mean, it's ridiculous.
No. So sweet.
We're going to get sentimental and cry up here for a little while, guys.
And new cons are happening all the time. So if you're like someone that likes to be hands-on and like be a part of something as it gets started, talk to us. Because I hate to mention this, but eventually there will probably be a con in the Carolinas as well.
Yeah.
So if you
working on that down the road.
He really wants one apparently. So, and there's actually a con that Caroline West could talk about. That's happening in Tennessee, is it recently? That's
Alabama.
just getting it's Alabama. BangCon. That's just getting started. So yeah, it's a really cool thing to like go to it when it first starts and then years on, because that's what it was for me with FWA. I've gone for many years now, and it's just grown so much. It's really cool to see that.
2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was 4,000 this year. Over
4,000 of us.
Over 4,000. Yeah.
3,000? 2,000?
No, FanCon. Yeah, FanCon is a smaller con.
3 zeros behind that.
So FanCon is in Birmingham, Alabama, and it's going to be going on in the middle of October. That's also, we say Alabama, but it's really like a 4.5-hour drive. It's not too bad. And it's a smaller con that's been going on for a few years, and I think they had about 400-some attendees last year. So they're growing. But compared to, FWA that had over 4,000, they are a smaller con. But I think there's a different atmosphere between the...
Yeah, they're definitely... you should probably mention that too. There's a really big difference depending on the size of the con. I went to one in Orlando earlier this month. Yeah, that's right, Megaplex, yeah. It was really great. It's kind of like a mid-size deal, so me personally with like really, really big groups, it kind of like... it's not a little uncomfortable sometimes, but Megaplex is that really like an awesome blend of just medium size, so you can run around and talk to people and not feel like you're wedging yourself in groups. It's a more intimate setting is the point I'm trying to get.
Knowing there's people around you with a common interest, for one specific fandom, it helps with social anxiety. There's a lot of people in the fandom with social anxiety, and that is because that it's easier to talk to the other people in the fandom. It attracts outsiders, sure. But going back to what we said earlier, furries do come from all walks of life. We've got one in the fandom who is, I think he's in his 50s, and he's an architect, and and then you got spanning from, doctors,
tons of students. Tons of students. If you go to USC or any of the colleges around here and you come to meet, you'll meet someone you've seen around campus. Be like, hey, I didn't know you were a furry too. Awesome. So, let's kind of talk about what we do as moderators to make sure PSF is a place that people want to actually come to and participate in.
Do we ever say what our actual name is? I know we've said PSF.
Yeah. So the name, just in case we didn't say it earlier, the name of our group, if you want to look us up online, is Palmetto State Furs. We have a Facebook, we have Twitter, we have chat groups that we can add people to if you're interested in that. For Affinity, yep. If you already have one of those, please look us up on there. There's a lot of information about our meets and all that on there too.
And we use Telegram a lot to stay in contact, short-term contact.
So I think we did go through this earlier a good bit. Like, the reason that I got involved with leadership personally is because I really want to make sure that if anyone in here speaks to us afterwards and comes to me, I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to kind of uncomfortableness or anything like that. Like, we want to make sure that people come out and enjoy themselves. That's our main goal, and to do stuff frequently.
Yes.
You guys want to add anything to that?
Well, we've been holding, I think, recently at least about 3 events a month.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I think I'm done.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying that, yeah, we've been here lately. I think our events have spiked up a little bit. We've been holding about three on average a month.
Not more.
I would probably guess by next year we'll probably be up to 1 event a week.
Oh, definitely.
And it's a lot of coordination. Like, we do, it's not just in Columbia if you are out of town. Like, we do events in the Greenville area a lot. We do a lot here in the Midlands the most. And we do things in Charleston too. And we're always trying to branch out. Like, we're going to have stuff going on outside of Charlotte pretty soon too as well. So.
Did you have a question? 18 up. 18 up.
Yep.
And that is,
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, obvious reasons.
Yep.
I mean, kids are a liability sometimes.
Yeah.
We do have a few that come with their parents, like to certain, and that's not bad.
Yeah,
but
when we have a picnic meet or something,
Right, but to come
of course,
by
it's in a
themselves.
public place, and
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Of course, yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a few meets that we may not say, like the bar meet.
Yeah, don't
bring your kids to the bar
clearly,
meet.
yeah.
But but there's a lot of picnic meets, like the one we were talking about in Simpsonville. It's even geared towards kids. It's got the trains and the playgrounds, and I don't know how old your kids are, but
oh yeah, and we hold a bowling meets,
skating meets,
skating,
all kinds of stuff.
We just had an ice rink.
Yeah,
we did ice skating out in Valentine recently, and we had some folks that hovered around 18. We would allow folks that were younger than 18 to come if you wanted to come as well.
As long as the parents.
Yeah, with parental guidance.
For sure. That's kind of what we're going for here. If we have some younger members, we want the parents to feel safe about, having them come and interact with us. Right. So,
but definitely, kids are a large part of the fandom. So,
but as far as PSF goes, we are all across the state, but we do have 3 subdivisions. I think you just mentioned them.
Yeah.
But we've got the upstate, which is, Greenville, Spartanburg, Oconee, Lawrence, Anderson, all that. And then we've got, you guys are Midlands, right?
Midlands, so Irmo, Valentine, Newberry, Lexington, Sumter, all that.
Welcome, Metaton and Alphas, fashionably late.
And then, of course, we've got, Charleston and Myrtle Beach and all that too. So obviously everybody from Greenville doesn't want to drive all the way down to Myrtle Beach every day and vice versa. So we try, we each have our own kind of little groups that we try to get with in our own sectors if we all can't get together.
Yeah.
So
do stuff all around the state so everyone has a chance to come to some meets.
No matter what part of the state you're in, you're going to have someone from leadership there to support you and get you involved in what we're doing. So
yeah, it's not literally you have to always drive away from everybody.
And we should probably make clear it's way more than just us.
It's way more than just us.
We've got about 8 or 10 people in leadership, most of them here in Columbia, but we're all over the state. So
yeah, I think there's 3 of us in the upstate and 3 in Charleston, maybe.
Yeah, us 2 are from Greenville right here. So if you live around the Greenville area, upstate, anywhere in upstate, then you can talk to us about the local meets going on up there.
We actually got lucky, and we had a lot of people from our actual group come out with us today. I like that you all are kind of sitting up front. I appreciate that for your support.
Yeah, it's a buffer between the furries and the curious people.
Breaking walls down here, though.
So I think we kind of went through a lot of this already. So I was going to say, anyone that has any questions? Yes?
So, a couple of questions. One, how do you learn how to make this like this? If you were interested in that kind of thing, you just go online, do y'all have classes?
There is a really good, I think somebody is planning on doing classes, but there is a really, really good tutorial on YouTube. Good Lord.
YouTube,
on YouTube, it's Kloof.
You can learn anything on
Kloofs?
YouTube.
Is it Kloof?
I cannot
Kloofs?
remember. I can't remember.
There are so many on
but
YouTube.
there's
So
infinite
many.
resources online to it's you can find out how to do anything online really, but there is a lot of good tutorials online on how to make them.
So many. It depends on the suit.
Well, mostly everything besides the head you can throw in the washing machine.
Yeah,
the
'cause,
head
like-
is a mix of disinfectant, like half water, half rubbing alcohol that you spray.
Yeah, or you soak it in the tub
And you brush it.
and you brush it and 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 brush it.
Oh yeah.
I can't hear you, honey.
No Febreze.
Oh no Febreze. No Febreze. I wouldn't suggest putting Febreze in it, but it's going to really mess with the ventilation in your suit because it sticks to the inside of it. And
Yes, dry sheets are good.
And there are whole studios of people, like I probably didn't mention this about artists so much, but it's a really big thing. There are people that just do furry art and make furry costumes for a living.
yeah, there are hundreds, literally hundreds.
Well, I mean, you got to think if you're making this costume that can cost $2,000 to $3,000 and you're making 10, 12, 15, 20 of them a year.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. And you're,
And you're a student.
You want to take care of.
And you're a student. Yeah. So, I mean, hey, if you're an artist, come get involved. We have a large base of potential customers for you.
I've got to go back to the Febreze thing real quick. Also with Febreze and stuff like Lysol, the chemicals in it can break apart any glues or adhesives that could be in the head. So that's another reason not to use stuff like that.
Okay, we just got a couple minutes left.
So if you have any burning
I saw
questions,
that you had a question.
now's the time.
Okay, say like you can go online and kind of search for an artist,
Yeah.
Yes.
design that you're looking for,
Oh yeah.
There are websites you can go to, yeah.
make it for you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You could go to a website
Yeah.
called Furby if you're feeling
Yeah.
adventurous.
Furby.
Furby.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you can just look there and see if you actually see something that you want, or you can go and get it commissioned. I'm not sure, honestly.
Before or after.
Probably from the get-go, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of. Yeah.
Yeah,
from there.
it could snowball from there. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, a lot of times it could happen in reverse. One way.
Yeah.
So now that we're coming to the end here, I'm just curious. Does everyone have a pretty much better idea of what we're dealing with around here?
Everybody, yeah.
Anyone
no?
still completely confused?
Raise your hands if you're confused.
Yep.
Put your hand down.
Good. That's actually pretty good. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Does this seem interesting to anybody? Did we actually kind of explain
Yeah.
it in a way that makes sense?
Did we manage to define this thing that cannot be defined?
Hopefully, break down some stigmas.
Yeah.
And if you want to get some contact information, or you want us to point you in the right direction, just come up, and I'll give it all to you.
If you want to come up and squeak the nose,
If you want to squeak
you're
your nose,
welcome
yep.
to.
Or hug this big floof right
Or if you
hug
want to
this
just
big
take a
floof.
picture with some of our
Yeah.
fursuiters here,
Please
just
feel
come
free.
up. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, if there's no more questions, I think that's pretty
Thank
much
you guys
about
for
it.
coming.
Yeah, thank
we
you.
really
Thank you.
appreciate you.